Hello, welcome to this week's How's the Market, Pensacola. Well, interest rates rise and everyone cries. Yeah, some people are acting like I haven't been saying this for 6 months, 7 months. The Feds came out, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, Feds came out, raised interest rates. Then they said they're going to raise them somewhere between 6-7 times again this year, higher. Immediately, mortgage rates rose. Why? Because the 10-year Treasury rose. Why? Because the Fed rose interest rates. That's the way that works. Mortgages are based a lot on the 10-year Treasury, all right? So interest rates rose. And I all of a sudden started getting phone calls going, man, my VA loan that I applied for and we're looking for a house is now going to be over 4%. And then I got a call and said, hey, it's going to be 4.5%. And then I saw a rate at 4.875%. And then I saw a rate at 5.1 or 5.2 or 5. I've been saying this. I've been saying this for 6 months, that that's going to happen. That kind of got stalled a little when Russia attacked Ukraine. I said there was a small window where you could lock in something a little lower. But interest rates have risen now, and they will continue to rise. So Shane, is that now the beginning of the crash? Does this mean that we're going to see that big pullback and a huge dip? No, that's not how this works. What that will do is lower demand slightly. But we're so over demand and under supply, there's no reason why the prices should drop. None. Not in our area. Not in our area. All right. Are there some areas around the country where they may see it? Sure. I don't know those areas. I get called all the time going, hey, can you look at this property out in Kentucky? Or, hey, can you look at this property out in Kansas? Or, I don't know the real estate market there. Had a friend of mine going, hey, I'm looking at something in Juneau. I'm like, you want me to give you an estimate and something in Alaska? I have no idea. No clue. I'm not the person to talk to. I know the people to talk to. I got agents all over the country that are friends of mine that I can call and go, hey, that's what's going on. Not just the country. If you put the Remax power behind you, I got them all around the globe. I've helped people buy stuff down in Central America all the time. We got some agents in our office that own properties down in the Caribbean, Costa Rica, all kinds of stuff. All right, yeah, we're part of the Caribbean. If you want to, we're in the Gulf of Mexico, not in the Caribbean Sea, but yeah, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I've got all that. On our market, though, do I think anything is going to drop? No. So, what is this going to do? Well, this means that the time of the rapid appreciation for sellers may be coming to a close. All right. I own property. I've enjoyed this little run we've had. It may be slowing down some. I am not saying we're going into depreciation. I'm just going to say the rapid appreciation is probably going to start to diminish. Will I see that all this year? No. When I talked at the beginning of this year, I was thinking that we were going to come out of the double-digit returns this year. But so far, we're still on track to do that. Let me see if I can say that statement one more time. We're still on track to do just that. That is double-digit returns this year in appreciation. But with the rapid rate increases to try and fight inflation, that may pull us back down into the high single digits this year. And then next year, maybe we get back to the 4 and 5% appreciation, which is a normal market. That's normal appreciation for real estate. It was funny, I actually saw another agent here in town put up a graphic and said, hey, look, all this rapid appreciation, if you look from 1980 to 2022 and did the normal 4% appreciation, it's right on track to where we are now. So that depreciation and then appreciations come back, it's almost corrected itself. So it's literally just marching the way it should. But everybody's complaining about prices rising too rapidly. A lot of people that are complaining about prices rising too rapidly in our area, I ask you to leave the area for a second and go travel down to Central Florida. That same house you're complaining at $250 is going for $500 easy. Pensacola is not up with the rest of Florida yet. Although we are growing, prices are growing, cost of living is still much, much less expensive here than it is in other areas of Florida. So bear that in mind. I know there's some prices that I wish I could go back and, I bought 2 investment properties like 8 years ago for $60,000 a piece. I wish I could go back and buy 10 more because I'm getting offered $180 for those same properties. I don't want to sell them right now because they're great rentals. But, do we wish sometimes, and we kind of got spoiled with that? Yeah. I got asked a question today, do I think any foreclosures are going to be coming back? No. Will we see some? Sure. But we saw some in '06 too, '06, '07. Now, why would I see a foreclosure in today's market? Typically, your foreclosures, there is someone's passed away. There's death involved. And there's no heirs. And there was a mortgage. Well, now the bank's going to take it back and sell it, just like they would. Or there was a reverse mortgage, and the bank is now taking it back. Well, okay. So they have to technically call that a foreclosure because of the way they acquired title. So some of the foreclosures I'm seeing there, but why would you let a property go to foreclosure if you've got equity? There's $100,000 worth of equity. Why would you let it go to foreclosure? That makes no sense to me. That makes no sense to me. Listen, we're going to get over to the details on Escambia and Santa Rosa County in just a minute. I'm going to ask two favors. One, if you've watched this show and you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe and then hit that notification button because you're going to want to watch next week's episode. Next week's episode is my 3-year anniversary of doing this every week. I've done this for 3 years now. And I kind of got a special guest going to come on. So you're going to want to get notified when I put that one out because it's going to be a little fun. Anyways, let's jump over to Escambia and Santa Rosa County and look at inventory levels right now. Let's go. All right, if you don't know, I always start with this slide right here. It says if you have between 6 and 7 months worth of inventory, you have what's called a neutral market. Anything greater than 7 months is considered a buyer's market. Anything less than 6 months considered a seller's market. What the slide doesn't say, anything greater than 9 months considered a hyper buyer's market. Anything less than 3 months considered a hyper seller's market. Jumping over to Escambia County, 374 active total. We've come about average. I want to say it was 370 something last week, so it's not much changed there. Not much has changed there, but I am seeing a little bit of uptick in the 100 to 150,000. That's 23 actives there. We've got such an appetite, and I mean a strong appetite there. I had one of the properties this week I had listed at 125,000, and it has been under contract for the last 3 weeks. And we were getting close to closing and ready to go. Something happened to the buyer. They got hospitalized, and there's a whole thing to them to where, God bless them. Nobody's upset because nobody could have predicted that. But we had to come back on the market. When I had that property on the market to begin with, there were 79 offers. So when I say the demand, especially if something's livable in this price point, the demand for that price point is huge. I thought that was going to be slightly different when we got up to a higher price point. But I think I told you guys last week, I put something on the market at 530. It's either 530 or 535. Same demand. I didn't have 79 offers, but we had multiple showings and multiple offers right out of the gate. So when it's properly marketed, now see, it's not just sticking on the internet and go. Okay, when it's properly marketed, because those offers that we got had separate places where they came from. So some came from the online marketing I did. Some I had done some ads, saw that the buyer saw the ad, then contacted their realtor. Some we do a whole marketing campaign to other realtors in town because I'm not the only one that has buyers. I mean, yeah, I got this show. We get a couple thousand views a week. Cool, that's great. But I'm not the only one that has buyers, and I'd be naive to think that. I don't even have that level of narcissism. But so that campaign works. So we got offers from all the different channels. There are some people out there right now that are taking listings and just stick it in MLS and praying because there's a lot of offers out there. You can get that. Sometimes that works. I know that the one on the 500 something, the channel that actually won that brought the best offer was not just sticking on the MLS or even the advertisement that we did, except it was a separate channel that I had used. It's a separate type advertisement that I used that brought that one in. So it's not just stick it in the MLS or go. All right. That's one of the reasons why there's a lot of for sale by owners getting a lot less property or a lot less money for their property. That's also one of the reasons that there's a lot of wholesalers here in town trying to buy stuff. And if you don't know what that is, go back about 2 episodes. I really talked about wholesalers in town. I told you to watch, especially the terms in there. So 374 active there. Looks like that 300,000 to 350,000 is the highest inventory levels at 52. Definitely a builder's market there. And everything is a hyper seller's everything. 2.5 months worth of inventory is the luxury, 700,000 plus. Some people are asking me, where are the buyers coming in from luxury? And is there a lot of financing? No, I was just reviewing 2 condos at 1.25 million a piece. And when I looked at the building, there's 10 solds already. Out of the 10 solds, 7 of them, all of them were all 7 figures. Out of the 10 sold, 7 of them were all cash. Some people are like, well, cash is not going to be at the $1 million mark. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, yeah, just pay attention to that because cash is obviously king. And some people, I noticed that some people were paying cash and then immediately refinancing. So that's a strategy that buyers may want to consider. If you've got the cash, don't do a financing contingency. Pay the cash and then immediately refinance. All right, there's a process I can walk you through. If you give me a call or reach out to me and I can walk you through how to do that. But yeah, that's a definite strategy if you've got the capital. I've seen somebody do that. It was a $280,000 property. I've seen a buyer do that. They actually went to their parents, borrowed the money, but as a gift. So they got a whole gift letter saying they didn't have to pay it back, all kinds of stuff. And then turned around and refinanced it and gifted back the gift. Okay, works. Whatever works, right? So that cash actually makes sense. But that was listed as a cash sale, even though they put financing on it post-closing. Because post-closing, it doesn't really matter, right? Hopefully that makes sense because there's a strategy that you should be looking at. Let's jump over to Santa Rosa County real quick. Just like 2 weeks ago, I told you that was the first time I seen it 2 weeks ago. We have nothing under $100,000. Nothing in Santa Rosa County under $100,000. I've only got 169 active total. Under $150,000, I've got 4. 4 active, and under $200,000, I have 14 active. 10 active here and 4 active here. When I say we're getting anemic in Santa Rosa County, there's the numbers. That's one of the main reasons I started this show 3 years ago is because I want to try and document these numbers. There's your numbers. If you looked when I began this in 2019, these numbers were drastically different. But 169 active in all of the county. And look at this. You have to go to $600,000 or $550,000 before you get over a month's inventory. Everything else is under a month. So Santa Rosa County is going berserk over there. And yeah, you got anything over there you want to let go of, then now is definitely a time to look at it because, well, like I said at the top of the show, interest rates are rising. People are starting to pay attention to that. So that demand may diminish after this small window of a pulse. The spring market's happening right now. Spring buying market's happening right now. And people are starting to get nervous that it's going to rise. So they're trying even more, almost a desperation style, to pick up properties before that stuff goes and rises. So it makes sense. It makes sense. All right, that's our numbers. I always end the show talking about our instant offer program. If you don't know what that is, that means that if you got a property and you're looking to get kind of an investor offer of it, saying, hey, listen, there's a bunch of damage to it, or I just inherited it, or whatever. I can come in and actually give you an instant offer because I got a conglomerate of investors that are behind me. So they go, okay, this is what the investors will offer you. You can either take that if that matches what you need to do or what you want to accomplish. Great, take that. Or we can use this as the floor, list the property, and see if we can get higher. If you can't get higher, you know this is the floor. So it makes sense. I can offer both sides of the table there because I know some people, a lot of your wholesalers and even retail investors only want you to take that instant offer. So they're not really pushing to put it on the MLS. I know some investors that literally, and I'm in groups, they're like, if it's on the MLS, don't call me. Why? If the numbers make sense, that makes no sense to me, except they're not interested in paying fair market value, in my opinion. They want something under market, period. And they just keep searching for something. And sometimes they find it. That's great. It just doesn't make sense to me because in my mind, whether it's on the market or off the market, and when I say market, I mean MLS at this point, whether it's on or off, if the numbers make sense, who cares? But, some people have just got a mental thing against that. So some people that are making this instant offer are only going to push for that. And then a lot of realtors are only going to push for the MLS. Does the MLS always, see, I'm using my hand signals here saying here's the instant offer and then the MLS, like the MLS is always higher, but that's not necessarily the case. There's plenty of times where my instant offer, the MLS offered lower. So my hand just actually went out of the screen. Lower. All right. But so it's a good gauge. That's why some people that have actually used my instant offer program have found it pretty successful. So it's a good gauge either way. A little bit longer. Make sure, again, if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe, hit the notification button. I think it's over there. Anyways, hit the notification button because you want to pay attention to next week. It's our 3-year anniversary. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. I'm a man on a mission. My mission is to help people break through all the noise out there and don't need no permission. I want to help you get to actual truth. Don't you just want the truth?